Good morning and welcome to today's episode of The Daily Light. Last night, after I put the boys to bed, I was praying my night prayer, and my little one, Adrian, came into the room. He saw that I was praying, he sat next to me, and he went like this to pray along with me. And the ending of the prayer has a prayer that I was saying out loud. And he's like, Mommy, can you say it again? I need to learn it. I need to repeat it. And I was so moved by his genuine call to prayer, because a lot of times we tend to see it like an obligation, something that we have to do. I know I always did for a long time. So for him to come and do that without me asking him just showed me the nature of a child, and how as children we are so humble and we're so open to the call of God in our lives that it's not anything that anyone has to tell us. It's something that we genuinely want from the bottom of our hearts. And today's gospel reading confirmed that. Today we read from the Gospel of Matthew, and starting at chapter 18, this is what it says. At that time the disciples came to Jesus and asked him, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" Then Jesus called the little child, set the child in the midst of the disciples, and said, "I assure you that unless you change and become like little children, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever makes himself lowly like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven, and whoever receives a child in my name receives me." Children, we always think of them as having so much to learn, but really we have so much to learn from them, because their attitudes, their inclinations are those closest to God's. Because by the time we get to our age, we're kind of hardened by the world, we're hardened by our experiences and this perception of what our life should have been in. Whereas children, they're just an open expectation from God. They expect goodness all the time. They're not in this expectation of things turning out badly for them. That's how children are more likely to inherit the kingdom of heaven than we are, because we've kind of closed off our hearts, and especially to other people. If we look at children, they're so open and loving to everybody else, despite anything. Even my boys, like, they could fight all day long, but after a minute, they're back to being with one another. Whereas we kind of turn our hearts when we get angry with someone and hold on to this resentment. In children, it's over in 2 seconds. We have so much to learn from them. And also the people that we look up to, because sometimes we tend to look up to those people that have high positions, because Jesus could have easily called anybody else up front when the apostles asked them that question and said, be like this teacher. This teacher knows everything that he's doing. No, instead he called a child, someone lowly, someone that doesn't really have anything in their name, no material wealth, no great knowledge. And that's who we should look up to. So, have that expectation as a child to God, and also think about who you look up to, who you let guide you, and make sure that they're humble and that their hearts are set on God and not just in position or material wealth, because that's what really matters at the end of the day. So today, let's ask God to really open our hearts to see what matters, what really matters, what's the right attitude, what's the right mindset. Have a blessed day.